So there's a narrative that's been pushed around for the last, I think, maybe 10 years. And the narrative is that a lot of men, especially black men, should go to therapy. Growing up, if you grew up in a black family, you know how taboo and what was said about therapy and about people who went to therapy. Only people who went to therapy, they were considered crazy. Like, people didn't go to therapy. That wasn't something that we could afford. That wasn't something that we did. Excuse me. We didn't even want that label attached to our name. And so growing up, you learn that a lot of men have been taught false, beliefs that men should be tough, men should not cry, men should do this, men should do that. And a lot of men grew up into believing this. I mean, how could you not, right? Men have to make this much money and do this and do that. And a lot of men today can't live up to that society expectation. I mean, we got to make so much money. We got to, uh, you got to have this many hobbies. You got to be this much in shape. You have to, it's too much. It's too much. And the way that things are going, you have a lot of women who's, they're not so much feminine anymore. A lot of women are owning their own business. They're going out and doing their own things. And the men, let's be very real, they can't keep up. And so it's throwing off the dynamic. And so a lot of men are making less than their girls. A lot of women are breadwinners. And that's fucking up the dynamic. I mean, listen, to each his own. But nigga ain't about to come in here raising his voice telling me what to do, and I pay the bills. I pay the majority of the bills. It just, you can't carry, if you a dude and she paying most of the bills, you gotta keep your voice down a little bit, homie. Yell at her in the bedroom when you get a chance, but in the house, you don't get to raise your voice. She making more than you. Now I'm joking clearly, but if you have a dynamic that work, that's lovely. But I think a lot of men pride won't allow that to work. And so a lot of men grow up into these excuse me, false beliefs, thinking that they have to be upheld to these standards, and they can't live up to them. And that leads to mental illness. That leads to a lot of guys feeling like they have no one to go to. They don't talk to their girl. They don't want to talk to their friend because, so a lot of guys, they keep a lot of this stuff to themselves. And that leads to, them exploding. Or that's why a lot of guys do crazy shit way outside of character, because they've been holding things in for so long. And I know a couple family members, they don't talk to their wife. They don't talk to anyone. Again, it's a narrative I'm all for. I think men should definitely seek therapy, but before men seek therapy, I think most men should take that time alone to themselves and find themselves. Listen to that voice inside their head. Listen to that voice. Listen to the God voice that's inside their head. And because you know what you should be doing. You know what's right. No one knows better than you. I'm just trying to save you at least 6 weeks of therapy session. I mean, you gonna go in there, have another person tell you who don't even probably have their life in control, but they're gonna try to help you with what they're gonna help you with. How to deal with trauma, how to heal. Maybe how to heal, but all the trauma, all the stuff, how to do all that already. You don't need help with that already. You're not going in there to deal with trauma. He's not, or she's not going to help you deal with trauma or get over trauma. You've done that for years and 30s and 40s of years. So now what you want to go in there for is to learn how to be happy, learn how to find joy, learn how to have emotional intelligence. That's what you're going into therapy for. But even before you go into therapy, you have to learn to do that yourself. You have to take, I would do at least 6 weeks to yourself. If you're in a relationship, if you have kids, if you have any of this, go set yourself up with a room I don't care how big it is, but let that be your space, your area. You need to hear that voice in your head. You need to control your emotions. You need to, again, opposed to trying to go into an office and talking to a stranger about, somebody or something that's making you mad. How about you go inside your brain, you go inside your thoughts and figure out, damn, what's making me mad? Why do I feel this way? Save you a lot of money and a lot of time. And then also, even more than that, when you do get into these situations in the real world, you conquered and you figured out how. Once you conquer and how to figure out how to control your emotions, it just hit a little bit different. So before you go in, and again, therapy is great, but if you could figure out how to control your emotions and figure out the things that make you mad, figure out, how to be happy, what makes you happy, how do you not let this certain thing trigger you, you would be so much better off. But you want to get to know that voice in your head. You have to know that voice in your head. Your therapist will not be there for you when that voice pop up in your head. You have to recognize that voice. So keep that in mind. Please like, share, subscribe. Share this with somebody who can use it. Love y'all.